Hi there, welcome to Yoga Nomad. My name is Karen, and this session we're going to be working on the IT band. So this is that band of deep connective tissue that runs all the way from the hip down to the knee. And it's a real key player in the stabilization of both the knee and the hip, and it can get very tight, but it isn't a muscle, it's more like a tendon. So you can't stretch it like you can stretch a muscle, but what we can do is stretch the muscles that connect to it, and that is what we're going to try and do today. Okay, so let's start by sitting nice and tall. We're just going to take those usual deep breaths in and out through the nose. So start to find that breath. Start to calm that mind down and just settle in for just a few moments of time for you. So noticing what it is that's distracting you. And remember, we can't clear our mind, but we can certainly learn to calm it down. So let's take a few more deep breaths now. And just try and put all those distractions to one side. Some of the poses we're going to do today, we're going to hold for quite a few deep breaths. And in that time, maybe try and practice that calming the mind. So just focusing on the breath and the body and the sensations, and try not to think about too much else. Okay, one more deep breath. Nice. Okay, bring in the soles of your feet together. And then you're going to move them out a little bit, so you've got this diamond shape in between the legs. Grabbing those toes, we're going to gently take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, pull the body forwards. Just to your point, remember, no further, just to the point where you can feel it. Now remember, when you're practicing yin yoga, there are those three key principles. So number one, you find your edge, and then you hold it still. Number two, you stay as still as you can. You only move if you feel maybe you can go a bit deeper, or if you become too uncomfortable to hold the position. And then the third key principle of yin is that when we move out of a pose, we move slowly and mindfully. And with that in mind, slowly start to roll all the way up. Draw those knees in together. Now for this practice, a strap would be useful. If you've not got a strap, obviously, then your dressing gown belt would also do the same job. Okay, so first of all, let's lie ourselves down. Blocks, if you've got them, they're always good to have to hand just in case your practice feels better with them. Lying yourself down. I'm just going to first of all draw that right knee into the chest. Just take a little gentle sway of that knee side to side. And then we're going to start to work on the hamstring first of all. So if you have a strap, you're going to place the strap on the ball of your foot and send that foot up to the sky. Now, if your hamstrings are super tight, you may need a bend in there. But again, remember, it's finding your point. What is your point of resistance? That point where you can feel it, but it's not causing you pain as such. Yeah. Now, if you haven't got a strap, holding on behind the hamstring or the calf, or maybe the big toe, you can grab the big toe with your peace fingers if you're feeling a bit more flexible, and do it that way. But if you've got a strap, it's sometimes better because you can control your stretch a little bit more. So wherever you're at, find your edge and then find your breath. Deep breath in and out through the nose. Where are the sensations now? Two more. Okay, now we're going to take a hold of the strap in our left hand and we're going to take that leg all the way over to that left side, just to the point again where you're feeling that stretch on the outside of this right thigh. Now, if you've not got a strap, again, you can take the leg over to the side, but you've got less control. Yeah, so if you're here now with this strap, you can start to maybe lift the foot a little bit higher up. So just work with this tiny micro movements just to find that point of resistance and taking those deep breaths. Try and keep this right shoulder down if you can. Nice, okay, slowly come all the way back to the center. Bend the knee and remove the strap, and then we're going to switch sides. So exactly the same. Strap on the ball of the left foot. Find your point and then find that breath, and remember it can feel totally different from one side to the other. So this is where we start to learn and figure it all out. Big deep breaths. Just one more. Nice. Now we're going to take a hold of that strap in our right hand and we're going to send that leg all the way over to that right side. Again, you're looking for that stretch down the side of the leg and the outside of that left thigh. Notice what it feels like. Notice those tiny little micro movements. Do they make a difference? Find your breath. Nice. Come all the way back to the center nice and slowly. And bend the knee, remove that strap, and you can put that to one side for now. And then hug the knees into the chest. Take that little rock and roll from side to side. And planting the feet down on the ground, cross your right ankle over your left knee. And you're going to reach through this gap and grab a hold of the back of this left thigh. And then start to draw that thigh towards you. If you can, use the elbow, this right elbow, to push that right knee out a bit. Maybe lifting up the shoulders and the head just to find a little bit more effort here. Take a big breath. Nice, and then release, let go of the thigh. Keep the right foot where it is, plant this left foot down on the ground. And then you're going to let this right foot fall to the ground on the opposite side. Cactus your arms by your head and turn your head to the right. Take a big breath. So you should feel here a gentle stretch on that outer right hip, maybe into the lower back area on that right side. Nice, come all the way back to the center. Switching legs, left over right to reach through, grab the back of that right thigh, draw the thigh towards you, maybe using this left arm to push on that left thigh. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Maybe lifting the head and shoulders just to work a little bit harder. Take a breath. Nice, and then release. This time, I'm going to let that left foot fall to the ground on that right side, cactus in those arms, turning your head to the left this time. Feeling that sensation here on this outside left area. Big breath. Nice, coming all the way back to the center, unraveling those legs. And then pull the knees into the chest again, grabbing a hold behind the thighs. And if you can, rock yourself up to a seat. Okay, so now we're going to take what's called sitting swan. So take the fingertips behind you. And then what I want you to do is walk this left leg out a little bit and bring the right foot on top of this left knee. And then just see, find your point again. We're going to bring this left foot in as far as you can. And this is where you are going to take some micro movement. So you should now feel this outer right hip. Now maybe just take a little rock side to side. Again, not too dramatic, just little moves. Just find the sensations. What does it feel like on this side? Maybe you can move the bottom a bit closer, finding a deeper stretch. Again, work it out. And then when you find your point, hold it. Maybe dip the chin. Find your breath. So again, starting to figure out what's going on the outside of the hip. Just one more. Nice, okay, we're going to switch sides. So taking that foot off, and then we'll do the same. So step that right foot out a little bit, crossing this left ankle over the top of the right knee, and then draw this right foot in and find your point. Remember again, it might be completely different on this side. This left outer hip might be tighter, it might not. So maybe you can move the bottom a bit closer, and then just those little micro moves just to see what's going on. And then hold it still. Maybe move a bit closer, maybe tuck the chin. Okay, start to unravel those legs. Sit up tall, legs out in front. So finding that nice tall position with the spine, shoulders are nice and relaxed. Bending the right knee, and we're going to step this right knee over the left. And you're going to lift up your left arm, turning to the right. Now, you can either hook the elbow on the outside of this knee or just grab a hold. So we're finding a twist here. So whichever feels best for you. Now, every time we inhale here, you're going to lengthen your spine as much as you can. And then on the exhale, maybe you can find a millimetre more of a twist. Again, just work with what you've got. We're going to take 5 breaths here. So inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. And again. Just one more. Nice. Slowly start to turn back to the centre. And then we'll do the other side. Bend that left leg, cross it over the right. Plant the foot down on the ground. Right arm lifts up high, sitting up tall. Turning to the left, maybe hooking the elbow, maybe grabbing a hold, fingertips behind. Inhale, sit up as tall as you can. And exhale, find your twist. And again. 3 more. Nice. Slowly start to come all the way back to the centre. Bring the feet out in front and just gently, just little hug, little rest of the head down, just reset for a moment, take a breath. Nice, we're going to find all 4s. So coming onto the hands and knees. And we're going to take a lunge position first of all. So stepping your right foot in between your hands. And I want you to make sure this front knee and ankle stay in line. Yeah, so you don't want any of this or this. So knee and ankle are in line. Slide this back knee back a little bit. Again, find your point. If it feels good, feels better, maybe put blocks either side of this front foot. Okay, and then what we're going to do now, move slowly with this. We're going to stretch into this quad area, and again, quads can be really tight, so go slow and don't force anything. If it's not right, you just stay in this lunge position. Okay, so see if you can flip up your back foot. Maybe you can reach around with this right hand, grab a hold. If you can, slowly draw that foot a little bit closer. Find your point. Now, it may be that you're struggling to get hold of the foot. If that's the case, maybe use your strap. Or maybe don't do it at all if it feels rotten. Just stay in your lunge. Another 4 breaths. Nice. Now, try not to slingshot this back foot. Just let it go with control and lower it all the way back to the ground. Now we're going to take our lizard lunge, which is just the wider stance in our lunge. So wiggle your foot to the edge of your yoga mat and then bring both hands to the inside. Both hands now underneath the shoulders. And this is where you might want to stay. This might be enough of a stretch in your hips. You may be able to get down on the elbows or maybe somewhere in between. Use your block. So again, whichever feels the best. Now try and keep this right foot flat on the ground and this right knee pointing upwards. So don't let it drop out to the side. Find your breath. Two more. Nice. Now if you're on your elbows, just come up onto your hands. And then we're going to find our pigeon pose. So this front leg, this right leg, you're going to bring this foot in and set the shin down. So make sure your right knee is towards the edge of your yoga mat. Your shin is on that diagonal and your right foot is somewhere by your left hip. Okay, so you've got that nice diagonal shape with the leg. Your back leg is straight and strong. You're on the top of your back foot. Take a breath. Now take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, fold all the way down to the ground. And find your breath. Now, if you've got into this position and you're not feeling much on the outer right hip, you can wiggle this front shin a little bit further forward so it comes a little more parallel to the top of your mat. If you keep a flex in this front foot as well to just protect this front knee. So again, just figuring out what version of this pose, what micro movement helps you find the stretch that works for you. Three more. Nice, slowly come all the way up. And then coming back into your tabletop position. Remember to move slowly. And take that little shimmy into the hips from side to side. And then we're going to do all of that on the opposite side. So stepping your left foot forwards. Slide your back knee back a little bit. Pay attention to this front knee and ankle. Make sure they're nice and in line. And then again, if you want those blocks either side of this front foot. And then notice where you feel this one. And again, stay here if you want to. But if you want to take that stretch into the quad, the front of the thigh, pick up this back foot, reaching around with this left hand, grabbing a hold. And very slowly and very mindfully, maybe drawing that foot a little bit closer. Find your breath. Now if poses like this hurt your knee, so if that right knee is on fire right now, you can place a folded up towel or blanket underneath to give it a bit of support. And you can buy knee pads as well, which are not expensive, which do really help. Take another breath. And slowly let that back foot go. Then we're going to find that lizard lunge. So you're going to move this left foot to the edge of your mat and your hands are coming to the inside of this front foot. Okay, so make sure those hands come under the shoulders. Then it's up to you. Where feels good. Here might be enough. Maybe you can get down onto those elbows, or maybe using that block, finding that position somewhere in between the two. Keeping the left foot flat on the ground and this left knee pointing up. And then find that breath. How does it feel on this side? Two more. Okay, slowly coming up onto the hands if you're not already there. And then let's find that pigeon. So bringing this front shin in, setting it down on that diagonal, making sure this left knee is right to the edge of your mat. Shin is on that diagonal and your left foot is somewhere by your right hip. Back leg nice and straight and strong. Settle the hips down. Take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, let's fold all the way down to the ground. And again, if you need a little more stretch on this outer left hip, maybe wiggling this front shin a little bit further forward, flexing into the foot, this left foot, just to protect that knee. Deep breaths. Just two more. Okay, slowly making your way up. Sliding back into that tabletop position. Everything in line. And just sway those hips side to side. Okay, so now we're going to take a pose called shoelace pose or cow face. And this can be, if your outer hips, if you've figured out now during this session that your outer hips are quite tight, this can be quite intense. So let's go steady, take it easy. You may need blocks or a cushion underneath your bottom for this one. So it's good to have one of those to hand if you've just figured out that those outer hips are getting a little bit tight, okay? So starting on all fours, you're going to slide your right knee forwards and you're going to cross it over the left. And then you're going to flip out the feet. Yeah, And then slowly start to move the bottom back, and you're going to sit the bottom down on the ground in between those feet. Now, if your bottom is somewhere stuck up here, grab your block or blocks and stick them under your bottom. So just kind of, again, working with what you have got. Sit up tall, relax the shoulders, holding on to those feet. Try and soften that face. Now you should be feeling this on the outer right hip. Find your breath. This is one of those poses that you love or you hate. Okay, so we're going to change sides. So slowly rolling yourself forward and start to unravel from this. Shimmy those hips. And then let's try the other side. Left leg. So slide the left knee forwards. Cross it over the right. Flip out those feet. Slowly sink the hips back. And how does it feel on this side? So take your time. When you find your position, try and hold it nice and still. And remember, it doesn't matter so much what you look like, it's what it feels like that matters. So as long as you've got this stretch down this left side, that's what we're looking for. Big deep breaths. Just 3 more. Nice. Okay. Bringing the hands behind you and slowly start to walk the feet out in front. Nice. So taking your feet to the width of your mat, leaning back onto the hands, and you're just going to windshield wiper those knees from one side to the other. So let them fall to one side and then the other. And again. And the other. One more time. And then switch. Nice. Coming back to the center. Crossing those legs over, sitting yourself up nice and tall. Take a big breath in and reach all the way up. Palms together, bring them down to the heart as you breathe out. Do that again, big breath in, reach up. Palms together, breathing out. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Do let me know how you got on in the comments below, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.